everyone, I'm Gabby Vallandingham and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be films everyone needs to see from the 2010s. So we finally made it to the end of my series. Isn't this like crazy? It's taken me like such a long time to do this, but we are finally at the end of it. We got this. Let's talk about some films, shall we? The first film we are going to talk about is from 2010, and it is The King's Speech. The story of King George VI, his impromptu ascension to the throne of the British Empire in 1936, and the speech therapist who helped the unsure monarch overcome his stammer. And this was directed by Tom Hooper, and it stars Colin Firth, Geoffrey Rush, and Helena Bonham Carter. Now, I love this movie because this was the first time that I ever heard anything about King George VI, which is actually the current queen, Queen Elizabeth. That is her father. And he just has an interesting story of how he became king, and it's kind of crazy. And the fact that he had a stammer and he was working through it all throughout his reign as monarch, it's so interesting, and it's so cool to see that he was just an anxious guy who became the King of England and had to just work through it. And I just love it. And Colin Firth and Helena Bonham Carter are their chemistry is just so great. And Geoffrey Rush is he's so good. I just love this movie. Our next film is from 2011, and it is The Artist. An egomaniacal film star develops a relationship with a young dancer against the backdrop of Hollywood's silent era. And I do not know how to pronounce the director and the people that star in this movie. So this is the director, and these are the two stars of the movie. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound dumb. I love this movie so much. I think this is one of the coolest movies ever. To have a silent film created in 2011 is I love it. It's just so good. It's such a great idea. It's a black and white silent film that was created in 2011. It's so good, and the story is just so easy to follow, which I love. But it's just filmed exactly how films were in the 20s. It's so great. Our next film is from 2016, and it is La La Land. While navigating their careers in Los Angeles, a pianist and an actress fall in love while attempting to reconcile their aspirations for the future. And this was directed by Damien Chazelle, and it stars Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. Oh my gosh, I remember the first time I saw this movie and seeing the beginning of it. Oh my gosh, the beginning, it still makes me cry. Literally, the beginning of the movie is it's one of the most magical scenes I've ever seen in my whole life. And it's like making me choke up about it now. Emma Stone's sequence throughout this movie is it hits home. It really hits home because I relate to her a lot in this movie. It's so personal to me. And yeah, you guys have probably already seen this movie, but if you haven't, go see it. Or if you haven't seen it in a long time, go watch it again because you will not be disappointed. Our next film is from 2019, and it is 1917. April 6th, 1917. As a regiment assembles to wage war deep in enemy territory, two soldiers are assigned to race against time and deliver a message that will stop 1,600 men from walking straight into a deadly trap. And this was directed by Sam Mendes, and it stars George Mackay and Dean Charles Chapman. I saw this movie 4 times in the movie theaters. I was not expecting to like this movie before. The reason that I went to go see it for the first time in the movie theater was because I was trying to watch all of the Best Picture nominees from this year, or I guess last year. I was trying to watch them all. And when I went into this movie, I was like, I'm probably gonna walk out like halfway through this movie because I don't really love war movies. But this movie, I don't even know what does it for me for this movie, but this is one of the best movies I have ever seen. The cinematography in this movie is just, it's indescribable. It just makes you feel something. And I don't really know what it is, but it makes you feel something. So I definitely think you should see 1917. It's a little slow in moments, but it's just so worth it when you get to the end. So before we talk about the last film of this series, like what the heck? I have 4 films that I'm not gonna talk about at all. I'm just gonna show you the pictures of them, and I still think that you should definitely see these movies. The first one is from 2010, and it is The Social Network. 2012, Skyfall. 2014, The Grand Budapest Hotel. In 2019, Parasite. And our last film of this series, which is crazy, is from 2019, and it is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. A fated television star and his stunt double strive to achieve fame and success in the final years of Hollywood's golden age in 1969 Los Angeles. And this was directed by Quentin Tarantino, and it stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie. Now this is described as a love letter to Hollywood, which I think is the perfect description of this movie. I love this movie with all of my heart. That's honestly what I love most about it, is just the aesthetic and seeing how much of a commitment Quentin Tarantino made into this movie. But there really isn't anything that I hate about this movie. I think it's a great movie. I know people think that it's a little bit slow, but just give it a chance. It's really good. If you love movies, I think you would love this movie. If you don't love movies, you might like it, you might not. I hope you do. I think you probably would. I don't know, just try it. It's a good movie. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you liked it. I can't believe we finally finished the series. I know it took me a long time, but we finally finished it. So I guess if I'm on YouTube in 10 years, I'll make another film about movies that everyone should see from the 2020s. That sounds weird. I don't like that at all. Yeah. Stay tuned for more videos on my YouTube channel because I have a few ideas that hopefully you will like. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Goodbye!